stood in front of the entrance to the village hidden by the waterfalls. The village was small, unlike the Leaf and most other villages. But despite that, they were a formidable foe. They had been sent there to deliver a scroll discussing a peace treaty between the two villages. Kurenai handed the guards a scroll from the Hokage, explaining their mission. After looking through it, the guards allowed them to pass. The team walked through the narrow streets of the village, passing civilians and other shinobi. They looked at them with awe and a hint of fear. The group walked towards a house atop a cliff, with a waterfall running beside it. The house was slightly larger than all the other buildings. The words, "Head of the Hidden Waterfall," were painted on the door. A pair of guards wearing waterfall headbands led them inside to meet the leader of the village. They entered a small chamber and sat on the floor mats. A moment later, a young man stepped into the room. He had long brown hair and dark eyes. He wore a yellow shirt and a light blue robe over top. A red scarf was tied loosely around his neck. He spoke in a surprisingly gentle voice, considering the position he held as a leader. "My name is Shibuki. As I'm sure you know, I'm the head of this village." Kurenai bowed to Shibuki, making her students follow suit. "My students are Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. As for our mission," she handed him a scroll. "This scroll contains the agreements of the treaty. The Hokage's hope is that you will agree to join us." Shibuki looked through the scroll. After several minutes, he looked up with a smile. "I have confidence that the village council will agree to these terms. You'll have a decision in 2 days. In the meantime, I implore you to enjoy what our village has to offer." Kurenai was about to express her thanks when the door swung open to reveal a girl who seemed to be a year or two younger than the other genin. "Shibuki, I heard we have guests from another village. Where are they? I want to meet them," she said as she jumped up in front of the village head. Shibuki sighed and pointed behind her, making her turn to face the Leaf Ninja, allowing them to see her face. She had short, mint blue hair and bright orange eyes. She wore mesh armor underneath a white crop top and arm covers, as well as her headband on her arm. Her waist was covered by mesh shorts and a white apron skirt. On her back was a large red cloth wrapped in a cylindrical shape. The girl gave a wide smile to the group. "My name is Fu. I like to meet as many people as I can, so I can have 100 friends." Kurenai sighed and gave a smile as she tried to hold back any comments she had. After introducing herself, Shino and Hinata did the same. "And what's your name, Whiskers?" Fu asked Naruto. Naruto gave her a smile. "My name is Naruto." He stopped and clutched his head. Fu did the same. After a moment, Naruto opened his eyes and stared into Fu's own. He smirked. "It's about time we met, number 7. Fu grinned. "Well, if it isn't number 9, fancy meeting you here." Shibuki narrowed his eyes at Naruto suspiciously. "What are you two talking about?" Then the realization dawned on him. "You're also a Jinchuriki, aren't you?" Naruto nodded. "I have 9 tails. The furball isn't as bad as you may think." "I understand," Shibuki replied. "As you seem to know, 7 tails is within Fu. They are also on decent terms, as far as I'm aware." Fu gave them a huge grin. The rest of teammates stared at Fu in shock. This was the first time they had met another Jinchuriki, nor were they expecting someone with such a vibrant personality to have one of the strongest tailed beasts. Once the shock had subsided and the farewells were said to Shibuki, Fu showed them to their hotel. It was run by an elderly couple and their son, who all gave Fu looks of hatred. Naruto and Hinata knew that look all too well. It was what they had to live with their whole lives. So, the People here also hate Jinchuriki, Shino commented once they were alone. Fu nodded with sadness. I've grown used to it. Shibaki and some of the elders are the only ones who protect me. If it were not for him, the villagers would have killed me by now. Her face brightened. But I always remind myself that one day I'll prove them all wrong and show them that I am worthy of their trust. Naruto sighed. Better get ready for a ride. It's going to take a long time before everyone accepts people like us. Thus, the power of human sacrifice. Hinata frowned and drew closer to her boyfriend, who let out a sigh of her own while Kurenai and Shino stayed silent. Well, I'll let you have some privacy. I'll look forward to talking more with you later, Fu said as she turned to leave. Fu, meet me in the forest tomorrow morning. I have something to talk about with our tailed beasts, Naruto said. Fu nodded and closed the door behind her. It was nearing sundown, so Team 8 decided to get some sleep. The next morning, Hinata and Kurenai left with Shino so he could work on his taijutsu. Naruto silently entered the forest, being careful not to attract attention from the waterfall shinobi. Once he was a decent way in, he sat down to wait for Fu. A moment later, Fu descended from the sky. As she landed, the wings on her back faded back into her body. One of the Seven Tails powers, I assume. It's the only ability I'm able to control. Chome doesn't think I'm able to handle Tailed Beast chakra yet, despite me being at tuning strength. It's kind of unfair, because from what Chome said, your chakra's on par with Kage, but mine's a little jonin. I spent my whole life training, and with the help of Kurama, I surpassed my peers a long time ago, Naruto said sheepishly. Fu gave him a playful scowl and was about to speak when another voice interrupted her. Pardon my intrusion, said a man with a low, rough voice. But do you two have a moment to talk? The two looked to the left to see a cloud of steam. The cloud dissipated to reveal a large man. He wore bulky red armor across most of his body. Over top, he had a light brown robe with matching pants. His mouth was covered with a red mask, and on his head, he wore a large red hat. His eyes were a dull orange. My name is Han. Like you, I am also a Jinchuriki. The Five Tails Jinchuriki, to be specific. Fu pulled out a kunai, prepared to fight, whilst Naruto stayed impassive. He could sense no ill will towards him or Fu. Your headband tells us you're from the Hidden Stone Village. You've traveled a great distance, so what do you want? I have been traveling for days in search of another man. I am searching for the Jinchuriki of the Four Tails, who also hails from the Stone Village. He decided to leave the village on a personal quest. The Tsuchi Kage sent me to bring him back. His trail has led me here. Naruto glanced at Fu, then back to Han, and shook his head, implying that they had never seen the man Han asked for. Naruto was about to ask more questions when the name of a jutsu was shouted by an unknown figure. Lava Style, Scorching Rocks Jutsu. Naruto, Fu, and Han looked up to see multiple lava spheres falling from the sky. Fu sprouted her wings and began to evade the attack. Han activated his tailed beast chakra, and steam began to escape from the gaps in his armor. Boil Style, Erupting Propulsion Fist. Han swung his fist, and upon impact, made the scorching rocks fly backwards. Naruto watched this happen and formed a hypothesis. I've read that the Five Tails grants the Boil Style Kekkei Genkai. Boil Style must augment his physical strength many times over. Definitely useful. Naruto shook his head, went through hand signs, and sent lightning through his hands, activating Chidori. a lightning jutsu created by Kakashi, which he had taught to Naruto after the Land of Waves mission. Naruto had improved the jutsu by using it in both hands. He jumped towards the molten attacks and thrust his Chidoris through the projectiles, destroying them with ease. He landed to see another man standing before him. He had dark eyes and bright red hair tied back along with a red mustache and beard. A black armor band that ran across his cheek and nose. His clothes consisted of mesh armor and a magenta robe and pants with tall black shinobi sandals. Naruto and the man held their heads and stared at each other, waiting for the other to move. The redhead was the first to speak. "So, you're number 9? Naruto smirked. "Name's Naruto. The girl is Fu, and I guess you know Han." The man relaxed, making the other Jinchuriki also relax. The four gave each other long stares before Fu started to laugh, followed by Han and Naruto and the unknown man. None of them knew each other very well. There seemed to be a mutual friendship that hovered in the air around them. In a way, they were family. "Well, I guess I was wrong to attack you, my friends. My name is Roshi," the red-haired man said. "As you know, I have 4 tails." Before anyone could speak further, they all felt a mental pull, dragging their minds into another place. They all opened their eyes to see each other standing in front of one another. Behind each of them stood their tailed beasts. Chome was an armored rhinoceros beetle with 6 wings and 1 tail, totaling 7 tails. Son Goku, the now named 5 Tails, was a large red gorilla with red fur and light green skin. 2 curved horns came out from above his yellow eyes. Behind them swung 4 large tails. Kokuo, the 5 Tails, was a white horse with the head of a dolphin with horns. Red markings lined his blue-green eyes. His own tails dropped down unlike the others, signifying that he was a pacifist, like his Jinchuriki. And of course, Kurama stood behind Naruto with his signature foxy smirk. "I didn't know you could draw others into my mindscape," Naruto commented. "This isn't your mindscape, brat. This is the deeper tailed beast's psyche. Place that all tailed beasts can communicate through. The power you use is an exclusive power granted to you by me. Though there are variants other Jinchuriki can use, but yours is the most useful for information gathering." Naruto nodded and turned back to the others. "So, I guess we're family, being Jinchuriki and all," Fu said with a wide smile. Roshi and Han gave each other nods. Naruto gave a smile of his own and looked up at the beasts in front of him. Son Goku bent down and patted the blonde on the head with his finger, nearly crushing Naruto. He gave the gorilla an odd look. "Do you think he's the one, Kurama?" The fox grinned. "Well, he was rather quick to befriend me, despite me being forced upon him. I have no doubt that this is the one Father talked about." The humans gave Kurama a curious look. "You'll learn when it is time, but until then, I believe Naruto and I are your boss." Chome laughed. "You? A leader? Please, you may be stronger, but not brighter." Kurama growled, making Chome continue laughing. Son Goku joined in as Kokuo rolled his eyes. Everyone paused as they felt a blast of chakra coming from the second youngest among them, Naruto. Such power for someone so young, Han thought. He has reserves rivaling a Kage. It rivals both mine and Roshi's. We're both adults, while he's still a child. Now, I don't want there to be a leader among us. We are family. But I would ask that we, and others like us, create a pact to be there for each other, to protect each other. The leaf and waterfall are going to be joined in a treaty, so me and Fu will be in contact. I assume you'll return to your village, Han, and Roshi will continue his journey. That is, if you believe you can cover for him. Han nodded. I never had any intention of forcing Roshi and Son Goku back to the Hidden Stone, and, despite the power of the Tsuchikage, I believe I can cover for him. Roshi nodded in thanks. I thank you, Han. We haven't communicated much since our time as Jinchuriki, but that doesn't diminish the fact that we are family. Han nodded in reply. Fu smiled widely, grabbing her new family and pulled them in for a big hug. Everyone chuckled, including the tailed beasts inside them. After speaking for a few hours, they said their goodbyes to the beasts and exited the tailed beast psyche. Naruto opened his eyes in the forest to see his new brothers and sister. He activated his storage seals and pulled out 3 kunai, each with 3 prongs. He handed them out. What are these for? Roshi asked. If ever you guys are in trouble, channel your chakra into this kunai. It will let me know of your location so I can help you. Either that or you can teleport to me with enough chakra. How does it work? Asked Fu as she admired the blade. Well, I am the son of the Yellow Flash. Let's just say that he left me some extra kunai. The 3 nodded, knowing about Minato Namikaze's reputation, and placed the kunai in their pouches. Roshi and Han said their goodbyes and went their separate ways. Naruto and Fu left in the direction of the village. The next day, Shino and Fu spent a lot of time together. Since she was the Jinchuriki of a rhinoceros beetle, and he was an insect user, they had great chemistry. The same day, Shibiki gave teammate a scroll saying that the village accepted the terms of the treaty with the leaf. And so, the leaf ninja left for home. Naruto made sure that only Hinata knew about his meeting. He believed that Kunai might be against befriending shinobi from other villages. It wasn't that he didn't trust her, just that she had very few good memories of the Hidden Stone. Since she lived during the last war, many people died to their ranks, possibly at the hands of Roshi and Han themselves. As they traveled, Hinata began to pester Shino about Fu. The two had gotten closer the last day. He remained stoic, saying that they were simply friends. The faint blush on his cheeks said otherwise. The team could not help but laugh.